Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 443 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng lightly shook his head. You are a fool. Wu He was truly anxious. Back when he first entered the army selections, seeing how Luo Feng could defeat him, and also seeing that they were the only two who made it to become new recruits, he had decided to follow Luo Feng's lead. Based on his experience, he was only showing his weakness to Luo Feng for the time being. When they met with dangers, thanks to Wu He's life-saving means, Luo Feng would be the first to die. The only thing that fell outside of his expectations was the extent of Luo Feng's craziness. He dared not continue following Luo Feng in his crazy courses of action. If they went on taking such risks, Luo Feng would be heading to his doom, and Wu He, would likely be unable to escape unscathed from this true god-level melee. Wu He shouted angrily, "You don't even know what a disaster-level mission really means. If that is the case, you shall fight for your life, and I shall fight for mine. I will not be your companion anymore." Wu He left very quickly and quietly as he sped toward the battlefield where the melee was taking place. Luo Feng looked at Wu He's departing figure and let out a sigh. His only companion since joining the army had left him. He never truly trusted me wholeheartedly, anyway. Luo Feng shook his head and continued to stay hidden among the grass as he observed the great melee happening in the sky high above. After watching for a long time, he started to take action. There were 3 main battlefields in the whole of Nine Smoke Marsh. They were, namely, the main battlefield, which involved the greatest number of law masters and was always the most chaotic one, the true god-level battlefield, which had more than 10,000 true gods, and the void space battlefield, which was occupied by the 6 true gods of void space. Among these 3 main battlefields, the battlefield of the law masters occupied the largest area and was quite scattered. In the sky and deep within the marshes, there were law masters fighting everywhere. The true gods might only occupy the sky and the marshes, but still, there were battles occurring everywhere. But for the true gods, their battles were mainly congregated in the Purple Vine Marsh region of the Nine Smoke Marsh. After all, the total number of true gods was not that big. The region of Purple Vine Marsh was big enough for their battles, and this region was unanimously avoided by all law masters. No one dared to go near. After all, being caught in a true god melee was the easiest way to lose one's life. A true god-level battlefield. Luo Feng was advancing most discreetly, at a tremendously rapid speed, toward the true god-level battlefield. Along the way, he had encountered 3 frays which all involved law masters from Nine Smoke Marsh. The moment they saw Luo Feng, they ascertained that he was a tribal warrior of Xianyu Mountain. Luo Feng had set his mind on arriving at the true god-level battlefield as soon as he could, so he was not interested in purposefully bullying any of the law masters. However, the other parties were so insistent in meeting the tip of his blade that Luo Feng was left with no choice. Unintentionally, he had killed 1 law master from each of the 3 crossfires. After a long time, Luo Feng stood above one of the marshes and looked afar. There it is. Luo Feng watching in silence. He saw a marsh with many lush purple vines over it. This was the Purple Vine Marsh region of Nine Smoke Marsh. A great many beast true gods and tribal true gods were entangled in various melees. A handful of true gods even charged out from the quavering swamp. Apparently, there were also melees going on beneath the marsh. It seems they are trying to minimize the number of warriors lost from their own army. Luo Feng observed. True gods from both sides are mixed around. In Xianyu Mountain's army, there are a few warriors from Nine Smoke Marsh's army and vice versa. This way, there won't be the possibility of large-scale attacks occurring. In such 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 methods of fighting, it would take a long time before any warrior was annihilated. If this was a collective form of attack, a single sweep would bring about a few annihilations, and both parties would charge into one another's camp. Then they would again be engaged in a series of melees. True gods were different from law masters to begin with, they were fewer, which was why none of the powerful groups were willing to mindlessly waste their precious supply of true god great beings. Corpses. Luo Feng looked around earnestly. Now, he was just waiting for a true god-level corpse to appear. Luo Feng hid at a spot not far from the true god-level battlefield as he waited quietly for the perfect opportunity to strike. Further off from the peripheral region of the true god-level battlefield, another troop of law masters hid in the dark. Captain, how impressive. That true god-level battlefield is so terrifying, yet you are able to seize a true god corpse so easily. Impressive. True, Captain. It seems so easy when you do it. If I were the one performing the task, I am certain I would not make it out alive. 18 law masters were hiding in a faraway spot amidst the wilderness. This was one of the troops consisting of the captain and his troop of warriors. They had been deployed here by Python River Army. The other warriors were praising their captain because, just a while ago, he had displayed his formidable ability when caught in a perilous situation. He had just seized a corpse of a 9-smoke marsh true god. They were praising their captain for 2 reasons. 1, they truly admired how powerful he was. 2, they held high hopes that their captain would seize more true god corpses, which would help them complete their military mission. The captain, who had been relishing in all the compliments, finally shouted an order. Enough. His warriors might not have been aware of the intense risk he had taken, but the captain was crystal clear on this fact. There can only be one. The captain's gaze swept through the troop as he spoke, and right away, several of their hopes were dashed. Previously, on the true god-level battlefield, not one of those law masters dared to get close to me. Suddenly, I appeared to seize a corpse. This was something they had not expected, and they were caught off guard. That was why I was able to make such a speedy escape. Even so, I also suffered a blow from one of the attacks. Had I been a little slower or surrounded by a few true gods? The captain shook his head as he considered the possible outcome. He had undergone many missions and had made it through every single one, even those at the reincarnation level. He knew full well that at the crucial moment, when it was time to strike, he had to take a gamble and go for it. Since he was leading a troop of warriors, at the very least, he had to obtain a corpse. He had to first be able to complete his mission before he could help his warriors. Captain. Everyone looked towards him. I won't leave you in a lurch, the captain said. If I had no intentions of helping, I would have left right away. Just wait. When the opportunity arrives, all of you just have to act according to my plan. I will do my best to help you all. Captain, just give your orders, and we will follow. Everyone might have appeared to oblige without hesitation, but in their hearts, they were worried. No matter what, the captain had already seized a true god corpse, so he had enough military credits. But there were 17 of them, which meant they would need 17 true god beast bodies from 9-smoke marsh's side. Having to seize 17 true god bodies, among the warriors, there were some who felt that since their captain could succeed so easily, if they were to take the risk, they might stand a chance of success, too. Earlier on, Captain made things look so easy. He caught his opponent off guard. Then, at an incomparably fast speed, he seized the corpse and then made his escape without delay. If I tried that, I might possibly succeed too. Yet, as time passed and they still had not managed to obtain a corpse, they were truly pushed to the peak of anxiety. Still, they had to go on with their current plan. The captain swept his gaze over them all. With a frown he reminded them, remember, there can only be one. The first time, you made a careless move. The next time around, you must be vigilant. Those true gods did not capture me, but they were not about to let me have my way as I pleased. You all must remember, do not take any risks. The moment someone makes a risky move, I will leave this battlefield right away. Understood. We will not act rashly. One by one, the warriors responded. The captain and his troop of warriors were waiting patiently for the right opportunity to come along. Luo Feng was also waiting. But he did not know that the captain and his warriors were also in the vicinity. After all, the captain was very experienced. Formulating plans and making decisions, he was swifter and surer, so he had reached the goal long before Luo Feng and had managed to seize a true god body first. With a single thought, a void space is formed. The entire 9-smoke marsh is enshrouded by the void space. Within this area, any domain-type true treasure is rendered powerless. Even if my Shawu wings were still around, their ability to control time and space would still be rendered pointless. Luo Feng understood this and was aware that, on this battlefield, only a true god of void space could reign control over the whole situation. Other true gods and law masters could only observe with their eyes and sense by using their godly powers. I can only depend on my eyes to observe and my godly power to sense. Luo Feng kept a thorough and close watch. Hong. 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 It was as though heaven and earth had collapsed. The true god battlefield was suddenly a scene of chaos. From afar, Luo Feng kept a watchful eye over every single detail as he waited for the right opportunity to emerge. A hideous body came crashing out of the muddy marsh and flew over in an upside-down posture. Then its massive body rolled and tumbled over the ground. It seemed to have fallen into a state of unconsciousness. Shortly after, a tribal true god charged out of the marsh at lightning speed. In his hand was a strange stone rod. On one end of it, the tip was extremely sharp. Raising the stone rod high, he took aim and tossed it at the rolling, tumbling beast body. The rod instantaneously pierced the beast body. The sharp end of the stone rod pierced straight through the head of the beast body. A single stab was enough to pin the body of the rolling, tumbling beast down within the marsh. The massive body crashed down with a bang, splashing water all over the place. At the spot on the beast true god's head where the stone rod had pierced through, bouts of terrifying ripples surged from the stone rod. Ah! The true god beast let out a shout of anguish. Then its head drooped, and it lay still, in the same spot, no longer moving. Ha ha ha, the arrogant tribal true god laughed in a most uninhibited manner. 3 beast figures swept down at almost the same time. Only capable of bullying the little ones without any true god-level armor for protection. You truly deserve to die. You bastards of the Xianyu mountain. The 3 beast true gods bellowed taunts as they charged over. The tribal true god did not dare to confront them. Instead, he made a speedy retreat. This was the so-called method of preying on the weak. Out of the large number of true god beasts and tribal true gods, more than half had never joined the army before. As a result, there were many without true god-level armor. It was similar to when rampaging devil god first arrived and was met with a true god beast. He had not had any true god-level armor to protect himself. Far away. True god corpse. From the 9 Smoke Marsh. The warriors under the captain's command were all eyeing the body. Don't take risks. I've said this before, don't take risks, said the captain. He looked around. The prestige and power that these warriors coveted could be seen in their eyes. After all, none of them had been confident enough, so they had hoped that the captain would take the field for them. But the captain was no fool. In another spot far from the true god-level battlefield, Luo Feng also kept a close watch. He saw the hideous body lying in the middle of the marsh. It was several tens of thousands of kilometers long. More than half of it was submerged beneath the water. The other parts were exposed above the surface. This true god corpse belongs to a member of the 9 Smoke Marsh. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. His gaze swept over the positions of the other true gods on the battlefield. With his godly power, he could sense and confirm, quite accurately, the exact position of each and every one of them. Right now, they are in the midst of numerous melees, thought Luo Feng. Even if they wanted to stop me based on the respective distance of these true gods from me, at most, 5 true gods would make it in time. And merely 5 true gods. No threat at all. In Luo Feng's mind, 8 possible routes appeared, and he immediately got moving. As he closed the distance between him and the battlefield, he continuously adjusted his route and calculating his risks based on the movements of the true gods who were engaged in a series of melees. Arriving at the danger zone soon, he thought. From now on, there is a possibility of being discovered with every passing second. The later I am discovered, the easier it will be for me to escape. Luo Feng had already charged into the terrifying, earth-shattering true god-level battlefield. Luo Feng turned to the size of a speck of dust. He was moving forward at an incredible speed among the purple vines. Though he appeared minuscule, his speed still caused ripples, and they could be found by godly power sensing. Over 10,000 true gods were fighting each other, and the ripples were chaotic. Only those close to Luo Feng could find that ripple, others couldn't notice anything. It's there. Luo Feng raced toward the body. That true god's strange beast's body was lay in the giant marsh, and over half of the hundreds of thousands of kilometers long body was covered by the marsh. As Luo Feng approached it, 3 true gods were fighting each other near it. 2 tribal true gods were encircling a strange beast true god. All 3 of them had their eyes on that tiny ripple, and they immediately knew what it was coming from. All of them saw the tiny body of Luo Feng. Law Master. A Law Master stole the body of a great being from 9 Smoke Marsh. Those body stealers must be under a military task. The task is indeed difficult, but stealing bodies of great beings from 9 Smoke Marsh is punishable by death. The true gods immediately stopped fighting each other. For a long time, 9 Smoke Marsh and Xianyu Mountain had been fighting each other. However, the battles were not just for benefits but also for training law masters. Weak law masters would utilize all their power. As for true gods and true gods of void space, they all restrained their power in battle. Weak true gods were killed every time, but as for those who had been trained in the military, they rarely died. Everyone had a consensus. However, dead bodies of true gods being stolen as trophies wasn't tolerated by those living true gods. 3 beings flew toward Luo Feng like 3 streaks of light and tried to block him. 3 beings like rainbows dashed toward a spot as tiny as a speck of dust. I've been found. Luo Feng took a look at the 3 flying streaks of light. Only 3 true gods. Nothing to worry about. 3 beings swept in. They figured there was nothing for them to hide anymore. Luo Feng's godly body expanded to 100,000 kilometers tall. The team captain and his soldiers were watching the fight among true gods carefully near the periphery of the true god level war zone. Many of them had their attention on the true god bodies of 9 Smoke Marsh. Someone tried to seize the bodies, a soldier said, transmitting his voice. The team captain and the others looked. There he is. The team captain laughed. See? This one who tried to seize the bodies was careful, yet he's still being chased by 3 true gods. Why? Because I seized a body before, so now, they are more careful with it. If you go, you'll be encircled by 3 true gods as well, and if you can't get away quickly enough, there might be 5, 7, or even 10 true gods encircling you. The soldiers all felt intimidated. Let's see which arrogant guy it is. QFA or you Luo? The team captain felt relaxed. It must be that idiot you Luo, said a soldier. Luo Feng's godly body suddenly expanded. All of them looked at Luo Feng's face, dazed. It's the new soldier. It's Milky Way. It's that newcomer, Milky Way. He dares to snatch bodies like the captain? Everyone was bewildered. His dead meat, the captain said coldly. The captain knew exactly how terrible the situation was that this newcomer Milky Way faced. Even the captain had needed to use his most precious machine-type valuables to utilize his power. Otherwise, he couldn't have gotten away. He's dead. Let's see how he'll die. The soldiers were all watching. This new teammate was a complete stranger to them. Luo Feng's godly body bulged. One of his hands held the blade's handle while the other held the blade itself. He resisted the 3 traces of light on his side. He then dashed toward the body of the true god more quickly. Great power borrowing. He can borrow power under the attacks of true gods. No wonder he's in Python River Army. Those soldiers all nodded and complimented. The power borrowing seemed simple, but they needed to be well trained to master it. The captain nodded. That newbie is doing okay. Unfortunately, he was given a catastrophe-level task. The 3 true gods are coming, and based on the speed, that newcomer won't be able to make it to the body. They kept watching. Luo Feng raced toward the body of the true god while being followed by 3 furious true gods. He's dead. What a pity. Everyone pretended to sigh. It's just when the captain opened his mouth, he was so shocked that he couldn't continue speaking. It was as if someone were choking him. All the team members looked into the distance in surprise. It was a terrific view completely beyond their imagination. Luo Feng was holding a blade, and the blade moved like a phantom. His body was strictly following the blade's movements, and the entire body turned into a phantom. Under the combined attack of the 3 true gods, that blade phantom looked blurry. They hit each other several times, and he immediately flew out from the encirclement of the 3 true gods. Luo Feng had been training in the space of inheritance for over 8 million eras, and this was one of his 2 largest gains, a close combat defense technique called flowing gold. All 18 soldiers, including the captain, watched the scene in a daze. It was unbelievable. A mere law master dad dodged an encirclement of 3 true gods. Even the captain, who had been through countless incarnation tasks, knew that he couldn't easily get away from 3 true gods. It was a terrific dodging technique. You two, tell me your names and your advantages. I am Wu He. I'm good at. Oh, I have a large enough godly body, which is over 1 million kilometers tall. I am Milky Way. I am stronger than Wu He. I'm good at close combat dodging. The stupefied captain recalled the first conversation he'd had with that newcomer Milky Way. Good at? Just good at? The captain was thrilled. I've never seen a law master so good at close combat dodging. Little did he know was that Luo Feng had the space of inheritance, which was the area of cultivation for each generation of inheritance from Duandong River. Other than the time acceleration, there was a virtual space for trials and combat. There were 282 competitors, including each generation of Duandong River. The most powerful ones were the three ancestral teachers. Over the past 8 million eras, Luo Feng had gained the least in blade techniques. After all, for each generation of Duandong River, only part of them created a blade technique at top-tier level 7. Luo Feng had created a blade technique at level 7, Light of Water and Fire, based on his already created blade technique, Nirvana Incarnation. This was only a small part of the gains he had made in the past 8 million eras. One of the two greatest gains was his close combat body technique, Flowing Gold. It was difficult to improve blade techniques, so Luo Feng had started to study close combat body techniques, and he often fought the competitors in the virtual space, even the three ancestral teachers. However, the three ancestral teachers could easily crush Luo Feng even if they only used the godly power of law masters. After all, the three ancestral teachers had such extraordinary techniques that they stood among the top beings of the ancient civilization. Under such training, he had learned from the past generations and those ingenious techniques. Thus, he had finally created Flowing Gold. Lots of great inheritance techniques, great beings from the virtual space, training, and comprehension, all these combined had led to the technique. All those 18 soldiers, including the captain, were astounded as they watched what was happening. That Milky Way had first used his incredible dodging technique to escape from the three true gods. Then, he had arrived beside the body of the true god, taking the body. He then had raced toward another path, his body moving like a giant blade racing forward. Even with two true gods trying to stop him, he still lost the two with his great evasion techniques. Luo Feng went inside the great vines and disappeared. Madness. It's too incredible. How can someone have such an incredible technique? All the soldiers were shocked to their core. If he's caught in a fight between two powers, with his evasion technique, he can survive even after all the law universes and most true gods die. Everyone was frightened, including the team captain. He had been through lots of training and various difficulties, and he thought he definitely stood among the top law masters, even among the entire East Army, few could outmatch him. Yet he hadn't expected the existence of a law master who was so great at evading. Without machine-type valuables, I would be crushed by him if we're in a fair fight. The captain was greatly intimidated. Of course, when it comes to battle, weapons and machine-type valuables are also important. With a machine-type valuable, my power will greatly surge, so I can still suppress and even kill him. After all, some powerful machine-type valuables could greatly improve great beings' power. A supposedly 7th-tier combat power could be boosted directly to a 10th-tier combat power with an automaton-type treasure. This was the charming aspect of the automaton type, something which researching and creating any other secret techniques could never be able to achieve. Of course, everyone was using automaton-type treasures, and so, those who were originally much stronger would naturally be able to unleash an even stronger combat power. Given the strength of this new recruit, Milky Way, so long as he is given enough time, he will be able to earn military credits at any rate and in any amount he pleases, the captain said to himself silently. He will also be able to continue improving himself. It seems like upon returning to the army this time, I will have to cozy up to this new recruit, Milky Way. By the next reincarnation level mission, if I am still unable to become a true god, I'm afraid the hope of accomplishing a reincarnation level mission will fall on this new recruit, Milky Way. The captain understood this quite well. For now, he could depend on some external means to try to kill this new recruit, Milky Way. Yet, if ample time were given, this new recruit, Milky Way, would certainly surpass him. Since he could not defeat Luo Feng, the smarter thing to do was to make friends with him. That law master is simply too strong. None of the true gods from our entire Xianyu mountain has such a terrifying ability of close-range dodging like him. The 5 true gods who had progressively tried to obstruct Luo Feng's way before were all greatly shocked, especially the 3 true gods who had just started to create obstructions. Now, they felt all the more lost. Even with the 3 of them working together, this law master had been able to escape their siege with great ease. It was as though he was poking fun at them. That law master will definitely become a true god. And he will be a top-tiered, most terrifying true god. If he further relies on an automaton-type treasure, I'm afraid he is going to be nothing less than an invincible true god of void space. Yes. It is rare for a true god to be evenly matched with a true god of void space, and if one wants to achieve that, just like that law master earlier on, it is indeed possible to accomplish such a feat. The 5 true gods agreed unanimously. The further one progressed upward, the weaker an automaton-type treasure became. When law masters relied on the power of automaton-type treasures, many of them could become equal in force with true gods. On the other hand, throughout the entire world of Jinn, it was rare for a true god to be evenly matched with a true god of void space with the reliance on automaton-type treasures. But they all felt that if it were that law master earlier on, so long as he became a true god, he would be able to achieve this. In the sky high above Nine Smoke Marsh, bouts of powerful ripples were being transmitted over. This was due to the overpowering presence of 6 true gods of void space from Nine Smoke Marsh and Xianyu Mountains suspended in midair without engaging in any crossfire. Nine Smoke, the 3 of us combined are, unbelievably, still not a match for you. How many times has it been? The 3 true gods of void spaces from Xianyu Mountain lamented. Chu Wan. Nine Smoke had a devilish body that resembled an octopus and 9 human faces. He also had a beautiful voice. How very impressive you all are. Only 3 of you, yet I cannot break through your combination law. If all 4 true gods of void spaces from your Xianyu Mountain come here, I suppose. 6 true gods of void space witnessed everything that was occurring beneath their feet at once. What impressive close combat dodging. Impressive. Even true gods of void space could not hold back their praises. With the blade positioned as the cutting tip and its own body as the handle of the blade, he had become one with his blade to form a battle blade. When he moves about, the blade becomes sharper and more powerful. At times, it will collide and borrow the strength of its enemy. And other times, while the enemy tries hard to resist, it would already be drifting off afar. Nine Smoke could not help marveling the moment he gained an understanding of what he had just witnessed. What an ingenious plan to be able to create such a close combat technique. With the blade positioned as the cutting tip, and its own body as the handle of the blade. The other true gods of void space were instantly more enlightened. These true gods of void space were all aware that their close combat dodging techniques were much more impressive than that law master. But they had the advantage of a stronger foundation, a stronger comprehension, and a better grasp over the void space. In terms of how subtle and marvelous these close combat techniques were, and the various incredible aspects of it, they all knew that when they were still law masters themselves, they were a far cry from this new recruit. This new recruit must be someone the East Army intends to focus on cultivating. Yes. I think he might already be placed on the name list. The true gods of void spaces were all discussing while trying to reach a verdict. Nine Smoke responded, "This is certainly one extraordinary genius, a rare sight in our world of Jinn. If given enough time, in the future, it is highly possible that he will be sealed with a title to become a titled great being." A titled great being? The other true gods of void spaces were amazed. Sealed with a title? Even for these 6 true gods of void space, none had been sealed with a title before. To be sealed with the name of a Jinn was the dream of countless true gods of void space, something all of them greatly desired. Just like true gods, it was certainly possible for true gods to be sealed with a title, but the requirements were much more intense, and that intensity could reach such an extent that was almost unbelievable. The weaker a true god was, the more stringent the requirements of being sealed with a title were. If one accomplished the level of a general within the East Army, then right away, he would be sealed with a title. Far in the distance, amidst the grassy patches of the marsh, Luo Feng remained well hidden. Having seized a true god corpse of Nine Smoke Marsh, at least I have accomplished this disaster-level mission. Luo Feng revealed a trace of a smile. His greatest takeaway, though, was not that true god corpse, but rather. When I was traversing the true god-level battlefield earlier, I collected samples of blood, scales, hairs, and some other body components from a total of 212 true gods, all of which I gathered from the marsh or wild grassy patches that the true gods fought on. With my godly power, I have hopes of becoming a true god, but the previous samples of life genes of true gods were too few to be useful. This time around, I have collected more than enough. After this era has ended, I can either choose to enter or leave the world of Jinn. By that time, I will let my new remote ocean body take these samples of blood, scales, and hair. Luo Feng was very pleased with this thought as he continued to observe the true god-level battlefield from afar. Watching the happenings on the true god-level battlefield, there was a possibility that an opportunity might arise. Having encountered the stealing of true god corpses by the 2 law masters, the captain and the new recruit, Milky Way, and the 10,000+ true gods from the 2 parties engaged in crossfire within Purple Vine Marsh were in a rage. They paid no heed the first time a true god corpse was stolen by the captain, But the second time a true god corpse was stolen by a new recruit, this time by Milky Way, they were extremely puzzled. Yet no matter how puzzled they were, seizing a true god corpse was an act of provocation toward the living true gods. Catch them both. Catch them, or both us, Nine Smoke Marsh, and you, Xianyu Mountain, will be put to shame. Next time. Just wait until the next time they appear. We will catch hold of them. These true gods were all highly vigilant. When both camps were fighting one another, occasionally, there would be one being annihilated and thus falling right within the marsh. The other true gods, whether intentionally or accidentally, would not deviate too far from this region. Most thoroughly, they were all detecting with their godly powers. The moment there were signs of ripples, they would speedily surround the entire region. However, Luo Feng and the captain were both highly intelligent. Each of them had one true god great being corpse from the Nine Smoke Marsh, so they were in no hurry. But the crossfire between Xianyu Mountain and Nine Smoke Marsh, two powerful groups, was long and tedious. There were times where both parties confronted one another and fought like crazy. There were times where they fought in battles where one party gave chase as the other escaped as if they were playing cat and mouse. The longer this crazy battle dragged on, the more intense the training and honing of skills for these law masters became. Likewise, the longer the fighting persisted, the more frequent the annihilation of true gods became. And just like that, the true gods from both groups of top powers started to feel the rage. On top of all that, Luo Feng and the captain remained obscured from view. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Half a month. 1 month. Just like the military mission of a lawmaster, demanding that they obtain a true god corpse is simply unrealistic. I suppose those two lawmasters have accomplished their missions and left. Great beings from the two groups of top powers were gradually losing interest in the true god corpses they had lost. We, two different groups of power, even if we fought against one another, or even if we see no need to safeguard our true god corpses, there is no reason we should let them take any more corpses away again. We shall each send out one true god to collect the corpses belonging to us, and during the collection, both sides shall not attack one another. What do you think of my proposal? A voice was rapidly transmitted in response. All right, let's do that. Nine Smoke Marsh and Xianyu Mountain both designated a true god to be sent out to collect the corpses belonging to their deceased true gods. A tribal true god, fully covered in red, transformed into a streak of flowing light and set out to collect the numerous tribal true gods' corpses. At that moment, not a single beast true god from Nine Smoke Marsh attacked him. At the same time, an 8-hoof beast true god with a long neck also flew out to collect the beast true god's corpses. After close to 3 months of fighting, there were over 20 true god corpses, and this beast true god collected them all in a single breath. No. Leave some behind. The captain and his warriors watched with blazing eyes. They were all at the peak of anxiety. Captain! Captain! The other warriors were panicking. They had waited for close to 3 months. Previously, they had seen those many true god corpses lying around. How could they not have been tempted by the sight? But their captain had given strict orders, and so, no one made a move. Now, all the true god corpses had been taken away. Beneath his gigantic, curved horns, the captain's grey eyes swept over the warriors around him as he barked his orders. You may go on your own if you want to. They were purposely baiting us. Now, they are paying no heed to us at all, retrieving all the corpses. Could it be that you all are thinking of killing a true god? To kill a true god, even with our joint efforts, would take an extremely long time. Before we could hope to succeed, we would most likely be surrounded by thousands of true gods. The warriors were all anxious and angry, but they were also at a loss as to what they should do. Wait! Wait for the right opportunity, the captain shouted. After all, we have an entire era. Elsewhere, Luo Feng kept a close watch over every move made by that scaly, long-necked, and 8-hoofed beast true god. He was paying such close attention to its every move because this beast true god had just collected 26 true god corpses in one go. A single true god corpse is worth 10,000 military credits, Luo Feng said to himself. 26 true god corpses will be worth 260,000 military credits. Luo Feng felt his heart stirring with excitement as he watched the beast true god. This beast true god was sent here to collect the corpses because its status is not high enough. Judging by its performance during the melee earlier on, its power is quite ordinary. It does not even seem to own a true god-level armor. No true god-level armor. And power that was weaker than a true god? Luo Feng was so tempted. He had spent 8 million years of painstaking cultivation to attain his current power and strength. Based on his own judgment, to kill this weaker beast true god, which did not own a true god-level armor, would be a piece of cake. But he needed to spend some time working something out, but even this short length of time would be more than enough for the true gods. They could rapidly surround him in no time. If he were to rely on his close combat dodging technique, he would still be able to escape from a siege by a few true gods. But if the number was increased to a few dozen true gods, or even 100 true gods, Luo Feng could only depend on the boat of Mausoleum to make his escape. If there were more than 100 true gods, perhaps even the boat of Mausoleum would not be able to make an escape. Wait. I have to wait for the right opportunity. Luo Feng's eyes were locked on that 8-hooved beast true god. Previously, when they were collecting corpses, no one had made any move to attack it. But when the collection of corpses ended, it would still re-enter the battlefield and continue to fight as it normally did. Its power was weaker, and based on what Luo Feng had observed, he was gradually able to judge the magnitude of decline of the power of that beast true god. An additional decline of 20% of its power, and then its body will be weak enough. Given the strength of my power now, if I were to release a full force outburst, I could definitely kill it in no time. Luo Feng locked his eyes on that 8-hooved beast true god as he waited for the right time to make his move. This video will end here.